Hello, my name is Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of July 23rd, 2016, and one Auk or dog in the Mayan Tzolk'in calendar, with Uranus turning retrograde, Mercury entering Virgo, Mars entering Sagittarius, and the Leo new moon. The July 23rd is one Auk or dog, and it carries the themes of loyalty, playfulness, sensuality, teamwork, protection, generosity, warm-heartedness, guidance, commitment, justice, fidelity, consistency, family and friends, and the faithful companion in times of darkness. William and Viola of ZolkinCalendar.com write, the Yucatec Maya name for this sign literally means door, portal, or gateway, and symbolizes the journey that we make from one world to the other, not only in death, but also as we transform inwardly and rebirth ourselves. Thus, dog, as our underworld companion and guide through darkness, represents faith and loyalty surviving even after death. And I found dogs to be associated with the afterlife in cultures where the dead are buried. I think it might be because they were scavengers who would dig up graves, and when they consumed the corpse, they were considered to be ingesting the soul as well as the flesh of the dead. Anubis was a jackal-headed god of the afterlife in Greece and was also portrayed as a black dog. The Greeks and Romans associated Anubis with the star Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, known in most mythologies throughout the world as the dog star. Cerberus is a three-headed dog who guards the gates of Hades by allowing people to enter but not to leave, and the three heads represent the past, present, and future, or youth, adulthood, and old age. In Irish mythology, references to dogs are numerous, which means they were an important symbol to the Celts. Dogs were also magical and could heal people by licking their wounds. In Norse mythology, the world of the dead was overseen by a monstrous dog named Garm. In Hinduism and Buddhism, there are two dogs with four eyes each, which accompany Yama, the Lord of the Dead. They served Yama by looking out for those who were about to die. In Aztec mythology, the departed soul descended to the underworld after death and comes to a river guarded by a yellow dog. Guardian hounds occur widely in shamanic otherworldly lore. Ancient evidence and mythologies have reoccurring examples of dogs in the role of psychopomps, the guides on the path to the other world, which is the role they play in Mayan mythology as guides who bear torches to assist humans in their descent into the dark underworld. This dog Trecen, or a 13-day period, is a great time to use faith and courage to illuminate the dark areas of our lives and share our warm-hearted guidance to assist others through the doors that lead to light. And since we begin a new Gregorian month during this Trecena, I thought I'd discuss the metaphysics of the upcoming month. August is the 8th month, and with its edges of 2016, when we add them together, we get 17, and then we add the 1 and the 7, and that tells us we're in a 17-8 month in numerology. Basic numerology reduces numbers through 1 through 9. So when we think about that arc, the 8 represents a time of picking up the pace as we prepare to complete the cycle next month. This can bring revisions to financial situations, business, investments, and industry. The 17-8 combination is represented by the star and the adjustment archetypes in the tarot cards, which are about having our self-sufficiency and talents recognized by others while finding balance in our paths to know ourselves. This is also brings the energy that what is begun must be completed. This quote from Walt Whitman represents the star archetype. We convince by our presence. And this offering from Ralph Bloom from the Book of Ruins represents the adjustment justice archetype. Know thyself, nothing in excess. The self is required to balance the self. So August represents moving towards completion in September, as May brought us new options. June brought us further down the path regarding the situations that lead to a new life. And we began a time of evolution in July, and that leads up to the solar and lunar eclipses during the completion 9-month cycle in September, being the 9-month for this cycle. So before I get into the daily energy for 1 Oct, on the 23rd, all the planets appear to be moving forward from our vantage point here on the Earth, with the exceptions of Saturn, Chiron, Neptune, and Pluto, which are appearing to move in reverse motion or retrograde. And remember, the themes of retrograde planets are the review of the past, reevaluate, reminisce, and we can see these themes being played out. We've got retrograde Saturn in Sagittarius. This delays success until perseverance and patience are learned. Sagittarius themes are travel, education, adventure, expanding our horizons, and planning for upcoming experiences. Saturn brings the details to the grand overview of Sagittarius. Saturn retrograde is a taskmaster that demands that we take responsibility to review our beliefs while in Sagittarius. Chiron retrograde has us reviewing our wounds so that they can be released by having the courage to open our hearts to any fear or pain associated with the past. So if you find yourself recalling painful events and situations between now and when Chiron turns direct in November 30th, it's advisable to remain conscious while dealing with these uncomfortable feelings, as they will reveal the path to healing and let go of what no longer serves a purpose in our upcoming journey. Then we have Neptune retrograde right here in Pisces. And this is seeking transcendence through spiritual experience. This is a time to use spiritual practices to keep us grounded as we expand our intuition and consciousness. Both Neptune and Pisces, the sign that it rules, tend to be dreamy, imaginative, difficult to nail down due to their qualities of illusion and illumination, often without any way to know which is which. They represent compassion and codependence, selflessness and loss of self, higher purpose and substance abuse, in their inspiration to transcend the material plane and experience something beyond words and thoughts. And then we've got Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, is retrograde, which is about transformation through death and rebirth cycle. And it's retrograde, which is about reviewing the past. This is a time of releasing anything from the past that's a burden to our new path. Pluto represents death, completion, and in Capricorn, this brings about the breakdown of structures to bring about transformation. And the big change during the dog trecena is that we have Uranus in Aries turning retrograde on July 29th. And so Uranus is slowing down as it prepares to stop and turn retrograde at 24 degrees 30 minutes Aries. And when a planet is stopped, it's said to be at its peak of its power. So Uranus at the peak of its power during July and into August is seeking to shake our very foundation through the unexpected rebellion of the individual. Obviously, this will continue to be a difficult time of upheaval, destruction, death, unexpected change, natural disasters, violence, and war. Stationed Uranus in Aries will have people wanting to hurry the process of getting free, to push the river of revolution, whether it be personal or political. This impulse may not be in the best interest for those acting upon it, because with Pluto and Capricorn, these changes and their consequences may bring long-lasting and may be long-lasting and very difficult to reverse. I think that this is really about a time of detaching Uranus to act as an unobstructed individual, represented by Aries. And when I think about the day that Uranus changed signs, moving from Pisces into Aries, which was March 11th, 2011, I remember that was the day of the Japanese earthquake and the tsunami, which crippled the Fukushima nuclear power plants, which are still unstable and spewing radiation into the Pacific Ocean as of today. So, of course, Uranus rules uranium, and Uranus in astrology forces us outside of our comfort zones, so we have to look for possibilities outside of the box. This is about unplanned experiences that disrupt our perceived or planned life path in order to move us forward in our spiritual evolution individually and globally. And Uranus spends approximately 7 years in a sign and leaves Aries for Taurus in 2018, but then it retrogrades back into Aries and then finally departs for almost 80 years in March of 2019. So these 7-year cycles are about testing us to adapt to a new change. And we are currently experiencing the Aries test. And being an outer planet, Uranus creates events that we respond to. Inner planets affect us personally as individuals, but the outer planets change the landscape, which affects us as a collective and as individuals within humanity. Which reminds me of this Krishnamurti quote: "The only hope for humankind is the transformation of the individual." Uranus creates challenges according to the sign that it's in, so that we feel like we're getting the same lesson and a theme over and over and over again. Uranus, being the modern ruling planet of Aquarius, means that fairness is one of those topics. And often these events may seem unfairly set against you. I know that I feel this way about governments and corporations conspiring to poison us with GMO food and starve us through austerity measures, and oil and tar sand spills, fracking, chemtrails, geoengineering, and man-made massive weather events. While the global elite eat organic food, build underground bunkers, and hoard seeds in Arctic vaults. Which really brings me to the theme of Aries, the self, the individual, the new beginning. This time, it particularly impacts people with personal planets in the signs of Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and of course Aries, as these planets become doorways to something unexpected and yet authentic, which set the stage for the epic 7 challenging squares with Pluto in Capricorn that we have been discussing since 2012. Obviously, they've completed, but their influence is still being felt as we, as individuals, Aries revolting Uranus against decaying power, Pluto structures represented by Capricorn. And really, at this point, we can see this in almost every corner of the Earth as the individuals and groups protest oppression from the global elite. And I believe that the uprisings will be successful in overthrowing the old regimes and patriarchy, but it is an uphill fight for some time to come. And I'm reminded that Uranus was one of the original gods of the Greeks. He was the sky god and the husband of the earth goddess Gaia. He was born out of the primordial chaos and came every night to cover the earth and mate with Gaia. Unfortunately, he hated the children she bore him and killed or imprisoned most of them until his son, Kronos, or Saturn, ambushed his father, castrated him, and cast his severed testicles into the sea, which then became Aphrodite, or Venus, the goddess of love. After being disposed, the sky no longer covered the earth at night and instead held its place above the earth, which I guess is the beginning of being able to study the movements of the planets and stars in the night sky. So let's look at the daily vibrations of this Trecena. July 23rd is one Auk, or dog, which is about unity experience through enjoying family and friends in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. I'm not going to be covering the daily lunar activity in these reports other than the new and full moons, but that information is available on the New World Birth Daily Facebook post and on the blogger New World Birth blog. The 24th is 2 Shuin, or monkey, duality experience through creating something new. The 25th is 3 Ebb, or road, taking action through serving your community in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. The 26th is 4 Ben, or reed, or corn, which is about stability through maintaining the home. July 27th is 5 Ish, or jaguar, which is empowerment through enjoying nature. While we have Mercury in a trine to Uranus, so from our perspective here on the Earth, This is forming a 120-degree angle, which continues Mercury's dance through the sign of Leo. Uranus is the higher octave planet to Mercury. Mercury is about our personal thinking and communicating, while Uranus is about transpersonal communing with something larger than ourselves. This is very stimulating transit, which raises conscious awareness and brings more of a love for life, to seize the day. Carpe diem. New ideas come quickly with solutions for a problem that has been perplexing, somehow being available under this influence after being unavailable for days leading up to this period. This energy is looking for a break from the routine to go out and do something out of the ordinary. It favors studying new topics, particularly astrology, science, math, technology, and the occult. Expect some electric conversations under this influence. The 28th is 6 man or eagle, being in the flow through seeing from a higher perspective in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. July 29th is 7 Kib, or wisdom, reflection through introspection, meditation, and forgiveness, with Uranus turning retrograde. So it's starting to appear as if it's moving backwards, which will inspire people to break out of anything that confines them. The winds of change are changing direction and will move this revolutionary energy to a more personal place until December 26th. Also on the 29th, Mercury is in a square to Mars. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is a 90-degree angle between Mercury and Mars, which has people feeling touchy, irritable, with almost any communication interpreted as a challenge. Hard to imagine that someone doesn't get set off by this implied attitude of this transit. People will feel the drive to defend their ideas, from a simple debate to an all-out fight. At this time, it would be important to realize beliefs and thoughts can change and not to identify our ego with them. This transit indicates the potential to be involved in accidents as well. This is particularly likely for someone who is trying to suppress their anger. The 30th is 8 Kaban, or Earth, balanced through the gratitude for Mother Earth. And at this point, Mercury then enters into Virgo, changing signs. And Virgo is a sign of its rulership, which brings out a more analytical aspects of the mind and grounded communication. People will be more drawn to know the facts and wanting to explore all sides of a question before making up their minds. Sloppy communications and thinking will find there is less tolerance when we could think things through before we speak and articulate the practical information with beautiful organization. We're likely to experience more activity at work and within the workplace. Topics regarding health and service will also come to the foreground for study and research, as well as communication. And this brings balance to all the planets in fire and water, as Mercury is joining Jupiter and Pluto in an Earth sign, allowing more grounding energy with all the creativity and emotions that we've been experiencing all month. July 31st is 9 Etsnob, or Flint, patience experienced through being introspective in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. And then August 1st is 10 Kawak, or Storm, manifestation through recognizing the gifts of adversity. And at this point, we have Venus in a trine to Uranus. So from our perspective here in Earth, this is forming a 120-degree angle, which wants social experiences and romantic encounters to be outside of the norm, unusual, and surprising. This is a great day to try something out of the ordinary. The daily routine will just not cut it under this influence. Folks are looking for something stimulating in their social lives and relationships. It is a day when there may be unique encounters and love relationships that begin under this influence, are exciting, electric, unstable, and short, but have strong potential to change our lives. This could also bring unconventional agreements into our relationship, such as agreeing to change from an exclusive coupling to experimenting with having other lovers. Experiencing different types of entertainment is also favored by this transit, by enjoying music, art, or theater that is outside of your normal choices. This could also assist in breaking free of negative emotions and financial patterns. Also on the 1st, the Sun trines Saturn. So from our perspective here on the Earth, that's a 120-degree angle between the Sun and Saturn. And when the Sun is supported by Saturn, we have a great opportunity to learn something about ourselves through our relationship with and our effect on our environments. It brings out close relationships between who we are and what we do. On August 2nd, it's 11 Ahau, or Sun, resolution through honoring the wisdom and memory of our ancestors. And we have the Leo new moon. New moons are a time of new beginnings, and in Leo, it's about shifting and changing our creativity and having the urge to roar. This brings a surge of new creativity through making different choices, exploring new options, investigating unrealized desires. This new moon is about exploring the edge, because the familiar is no longer the preferred. New moons are times of new beginnings, and in Leo it's about power, exuberance, creativity, enthusiasm, and drama, which is ruled by the Sun. New moons bring an opportunity to set an intention for manifestation on the following full moon. So you want to look at the house of your astrology chart that contains 10 degrees 58 minutes, almost 11 degrees of Leo, to consider what areas of your life are being activated by this new moon. For me, this would be my 3rd house of communication, immediate environment, self-expression, connections to the family, and day-to-day travel. So I'd set an intention related to using this energy, such as perhaps recording the video for the next, the one night Trisena on that day. That would fulfill the Leo new moon's desire for a dramatic expression through my 3rd house's role of communication. The moon is supported by Saturn and merges with the Sun, and the new moon finding support from Saturn has people settling into a more sober and realistic view of life. And then also on the 2nd, Mars moves into Sagittarius. Okay, and Mars in Sagittarius brings energy for long-distance travel and studying subjects that inspire our higher minds. Folks may feel a strong sense of patriotism. Mars is returning to the sign of the happy wanderer, which it entered in March and stayed for almost 3 months due to turning retrograde before returning to Scorpio. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so Mars is likely to take action around the themes of law, religion, philosophy, and higher education, with more energy for people who are inclined to do so, acting self-righteously, possibly to the point of believing that might is right. The 3rd is 12 Emish, or crocodile, which is about understanding through nurturing new beginnings in the Mayan Zolkin calendar. And then we finish out the Trisena on August 4th with 13 Ek, or wind, which is about movement to the next stage through communication. So no matter what the energies are that are affecting you during this one dog Trisena, just take some time to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature, watching a sunrise or a sunset, communing with the stars, or being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or just being truly conscious with somebody you love. Every day is a blessing, no matter what dramas beckon to distract us. And I believe that we're all here giving the performance of a lifetime on this world stage. Just take some time to observe your play as well as act your part by remembering you're a spiritual being that's having a human experience. I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of the care and feeding of a New World Age report will be for August 5th. for one Akbal or night with Venus entering Virgo and Saturn turning direct. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and the Mayan Magics website, and I encourage you to share this information as videos or as texts as widely as you choose. And as always, I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or you wish to schedule a reading. And I am providing readings and wish to make this service available to the greatest amount of folks. So I've created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation. And if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I would love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to be able to either call me in Maine in the USA, or we can connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available. And if you want to make a donation, please contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com or get a reading. Things have been pretty lean. I'm actually getting to the point where I'm questioning whether I'm going to be able to continue to do this. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading, or you've been thinking about making a donation, please do so. Sooner the better. Anyway, as always, I am blessed that you've taken the time to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and look forward to connecting with you at some point in the future. Peace, everyone.